Every villainous Pokemon team explained in 1 minute. Team Rocket. Even the most casual Pokemon fans know about Team Rocket's schemes. Steal Pokemon from trainers, sell them for a quick cash injection, and then cry yourself to sleep because your partner Pokemon is a Rattata. Every action these guys take in the games is in line with these goals. Appearing in Mount Moon to steal Pokemon that are already dead. Then appearing in the Pokemon Tower to steal Pokemon that are already dead. Then taking Silphco hostage to acquire the Master Ball so they can capture legendary Pokemon, some of which may already be dead. These would be steps in the right direction if a 10-year-old didn't wake up one day and say, "Mum, I'm leaving to take down the Mafia." 3 years later they appear in Johto, with the sole aim of getting on the radio so they could deliver an apology video to their ex-leader Giovanni, and beg him to join the group again. But he may already be dead thanks to this other kid, so there's that. Water, H2O, Earth Source. Don't you guys just loathe it? What even does water give you? Hydration? Yeah, and what rhymes with hydration? Inflation. Undeniable proof that water is ruining the Hoenn region's economy. This is why we over at Team Magma are preparing to wake up the legendary Groudon, who possesses the power to dry up the oceans just by consuming oxygen. Objection! Water is the lifeblood of this world, and we at Team Aqua will stop at nothing until this region is bathed in it. All we need to do is control the legendary Kyogre, and then IGN will really have a reason to say Hoenn has too much water. Wow, it's fascinating how we have such different goals but such similar methods. Anyway, along with the plot progression.
A few moments later.
Oh no, it turns out awakening all powerful beings to cause extreme weather was a bad idea. Who would have thought? Not me. But let's agree to be homies once this child solves all our problems. Agreed. Team Cipher, not to be confused with the Pokemon Cipher or the other Pokemon Cipher, are a shadowy group from the spin-off exclusive region of Ore. Their main objective throughout both Colosseum and XD is to snag as many Pokemon as possible and corrupt them into soulless battling machines known as Shadow Pokemon. You might think they're quite the evil group of people, and then you see one of their admins looks like this, and then you're not sure what to believe anymore. In Colosseum, they want to open up a Colosseum where Shadow Pokemon are pitted against each other, but their plans are ruined by a cool guy with an Espeon and Umbreon. They return in XD with a bunch of brand new Shadow Pokemon production facilities, and a Lugia that I guess they picked up somewhere.
Wait. What
With all these upgrades, I'm sure a less cool protagonist won't appear out of thin air and stop us. Crap. Team Galactic. So these are the other space rangers Buzz Lightyear talked about. This band of bobheads are on a master quest to summon Sinnoh's gods of time and space, Dialga and Palkia. They hope that once controlled, their leader Cyrus can wield their power to destroy the world and build a new one from scratch. This time with cringe things like emotions and civil rights removed. Their methods of bringing about genocide vary, ranging from stealing a bike shop owner's Pokemon to blowing up an ecosystem. This part of the video is dedicated to all the Magikarp who lost their lives in Lake Valor. Rest in peace. Their galactic shenanigans eventually escalate to them capturing the legendary Lake Guardians and using the crystals on their forehead to craft the red chain, which can summon and control Dialga and Palkia, leading to a Pokemon showdown on top of Sinnoh's tallest mountain. Unfortunately, Cyrus forgot which Pokemon is number 487 in the Pokedex and is jump scared along with the player. The Go Rock Squad. Present in Pokemon Ranger's Fjord region, the Go Rock Squad accomplished more than Team Rocket ever did in about 30 minutes of gameplay, by stealing the blueprints and prototype for a Super Styler, this world's equivalent of the Master Ball, and successfully mass producing them so their group can surpass the Pokemon Rangers. They're a bit of a comic nuisance, and many of your early missions are just cleaning up messes they've created by testing out their new capture stylers. Fun fact, the Go Rock Squad are the only villainous team to have a rock band as their admins. Musical numbers aside, Things turn dramatically when the squad decides to lock in and go after legendary Pokemon. The legendary Entei is freed from statue form by the group forcing you to capture a suffering Charizard. While they are unsuccessful in capturing it the first time, their leader Gordor installs the Super Styler into his gaming PC that he hauled up an entire mountain to control the whole legendary beast trio, but it's destroyed by Plusle and Minun using it as a trampoline. Yes, this is really how the story goes. Team Dimson. You probably heard Jaden Animations talk about these guys before, but I'd like to shed more light on their dimness. In essence, they're the same as the Go-Rock squad, but instead of using a Super Styler, they control the Almia region's Pokemon with machines called Gigaramos and Minoramos. They have an interesting cast of admins, including the Sinist Trio, who have one of the most underrated soundtracks ever, a teacher from your old school, a Bidoof main, and the CEO of Almia's biggest energy company. Mr. Blake Hall over here wants to turn his company's tower into a generator powered by a black crystal. That's also used to power the Pokemon controlling machines. And everyone's like, yeah, this isn't suspicious at all. So he completes the tower despite the ranger's best efforts, and now controls every Pokemon in the region, except for a Darkrai that was attracted to the Dark Crystal's power and promptly Dark Voids Elon Musk Light. Task failed successfully. This murder lets you purify the crystal and wipe out Dimson's machines, effectively disbanding the group. We at Team Plasma believe that Pokemon should not be used as tools for battle and should live separately from people outside of Pokeballs. Outside of Pokeballs. Team Plasma is meant to be a Pokemon protection group, but if you couldn't tell by their blatant hypocrisy, all of their speeches are 100% waffle. They're just an elaborate way to get people to release or hand over their Pokemon to the group, because it's way easier to take over the world when civilians don't have lethal weapons at their disposal. Back to world domination. Team Plasma aims to achieve this through a little bit of child soldier infiltration. Their leader Ghetsis found a Pokemon Wonder Kid in the woods, proclaimed it would be named the 14th letter of the alphabet, and made him believe the Pokemon good, humans bad ideology. So when this kid becomes champion and picks up one of the legendary dragon Pokemon on the way, the region will have no choice but to adopt this way of thinking too. But then it turns out Ghetsis is stronger than N, so he could have just become champion himself the whole time. Neo Team Plasma, or as some might call them, Team Plasma with 2000% extra terrorism. 2 years later, the mask of innocence and activism Team Plasma once wore has well and truly fallen off. But when one door closes, another one opens. Dressing in all black and kicking dogs are new ways Neo Team Plasma acts like true villains. They've also been surprisingly productive during this time skip by building a flying ship and catching the Ice-type legendary Kyurem. By combining the two, they now conduct a new form of violence which I like to call drive-by freezings. These developments are down to the employment of scientist and internet explorer fanboy Colres, who acts as the group's new leader while Ghetsis hides in the shadows and watches parenting tutorials. Eventually, you force the man with the least drip ever out of hiding, and he becomes the first character in Pokemon history to try and kill the protagonist. Finally, someone with a brain. Does the protagonist end up surviving? I don't know. Play the game. Pokémon Pinchers. The Pokémon Pinchers are the last and unfortunately least interesting villains in the Ranger franchise. Instead of bootleg Master Balls or machines powered by ancient dark magic, they wear these robotic gauntlets that can store Pokémon inside them like a Pokeball. This is flight PK321. We will be landing in the Johto region in 1 hour. Oh man, I can't wait for our holiday. High five, son. Sure. Oh no, son. You pressed the wrong button. What does that mean? Their plan for world domination is also pretty basic, only seeking control over legendary birds Articuno, Zapdos and Moltres. According to the lore of the Oblivia region, having control over all three will in turn grant the Pinchers control over the legendary Ho-Oh. Wait, isn't Lugia supposed to be the one associated with the legendary birds? Whatever, many things don't make sense with this group, like why they look more like Pokemon Rangers than the Rangers themselves. This shocking collection of orange-haired individuals are Team Flare. They're headed by 4 scientists that I challenge anyone to remember the names of.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu! Mabel!
This bald guy and Lysander. Believe me, I was very shocked too when I found out this guy is the head of Team Orange-haired people. Lysander strives for a beautiful world. He wants to do this by A, giving everyone eternal life, or B, killing everyone, depending on which game you're playing. This is done by using an ultimate weapon from 3,000 years ago, which is boosted with the help of Xerneas and Yveltal. So yeah, these guys definitely have the darkest plot of any team so far. We're straight up ending humanity with this one, or I guess continuing humanity forever. You didn't think of like planting a tree or something? They're also the dumbest villain in this group, because Lysander could have just waited a bit and then fired the ultimate weapon instead of, you know, announcing to everyone that he was going to fire it in like 3 hours time. Team Skull. These guys are probably the group that is the least threatening to human civilization. Essentially a group of dropouts that weren't good enough to complete the Alola region's island challenge themselves. And look, I get it. Some of these totem Pokemon are pretty tough, but that gives them no excuse to steal Pokemon and generally be a pain in the ass Greninja. You've got to wonder how difficult these trials are, because apparently enough of these guys failed that they were able to band together and take over an entire town, forcibly displacing the other residents. Their second in command is Plumeria, a woman that affectionately calls these group of failures numbskulls. Conversely, their leader Guzma isn't exactly a failure, but I don't know. You're supposed to be acting tough, but whenever your main Pokemon's HP goes below half, they leave faster than a bald guy who accidentally walked into a hair salon.
I want out. I want out.
First things first, the Aether Foundation isn't entirely a villainous organization. They are primarily a Pokemon research and conservation society. It's just that sometimes the research is about summoning alien jellyfish, and the conservation is in ice. Now all the madness this group gets up to is solely down to Lucamine, and I guess Faber, her creepy scientist. One day her husband got sucked up by a wormhole, and ever since then she's been obsessively hunting the Pokemon on the other side of that wormhole, the Ultra Beasts. She even goes so far as to make her daughter dress like a jellyfish. On the other hand, you have members like Wick, who just want to play a bit of My Pokemon Ranch. Anyway, Lucamine's obsession leads the Alola region to almost certain doom as the group flood the sky with wormholes, dropping various alien creatures into Alola like they're jumping off the Fortnite battle bus. Rainbow Rocket may be the first evil organization appearing only in the post-game, but their influence is unmatched. In fact, the Russo brothers recently came out in an interview declaring this team were the inspiration for Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. So Faber, the scientist no one likes from the last section, simps up to Giovanni and lets him take over the Aether Foundation because no one likes Faber. Team Rocket's leader uses the lab's ultra wormhole technology to summon every bad guy we've mentioned so far and install them as admins for his ultimate evil Power Rangers. Well, not every bad guy. Spin-off people didn't make the cut. Sorry, Purple Eyes. Interestingly, every villain here has been yoinked from an alternate timeline where their evil deeds succeeded and acquired legendary Pokemon without being eaten in the process. Even Giovanni has somehow picked up a Mega Mewtwo along the way. Multiverses just released? This right here is the real Multiverses. Team Break. If you don't have a crippling gambling addiction, you may have never stumbled across these guys before, because they only exist inside Pokemon Masters. The unique thing about them is their lack of a coordinated uniform. Instead, the members are made up of random trainer classes that all wear black and white masks. Their business model functions exactly like Team Rocket's. They're simply looking to steal Pokemon to sell, but instead of trying to produce an army of Master Balls, they conduct a home invasion and steal a Hooper, which opens up portals so they have an easier job of stealing Pokemon. It's a pretty smart business model, and unlike the other villains on this list, I don't know whether they'll succeed, because after almost 5 years, the story in this game still hasn't concluded, and judging by their dwindling player numbers, the servers might shut down before it does. Somewhere in an office in Japan, a game designer is tasked with creating an evil team for the region based on England, and what better inspiration to have than the British public. Most most notably, football fans. No joke, the director of these games claimed that these guys were a hybrid breed of football hooligans and idol stands, which automatically makes them the most evil team we've covered so far. These guys travel the region to support / obsessively stalk Marnie, a trainer from their hometown, so she can be the one who gets to take on champion Leon. It's an okay cause if you consider they're doing it so that the town Marnie and Team Yell are from, Spike Muff, can get extra funding as it's pretty worn down, and I guess the champion in Galar is like the Prime Minister too or something. Things go too far though when Team Yell starts actively harming the other participants' chances to increase Marnie's, and they become quite a toxic clique as a result. Who knew that Pokemon would predict dream stands? Usually in videos like these, you're meant to save the best for last, but thanks to chronological order, we have saved the most confusing for last. So Team Star is considered an unruly group of bullies, who have nothing better to do than push people into Pokemon-shaped lockers. Then, as you progress through the story, you uncover the shocking truth about these ruffians. They used to be bullied themselves. Honestly, I'm surprised it's taken Pokemon this long to visit their misunderstood villain trope, but yeah, these guys pushed back against their bullies, got them kicked out of the school, and now they're bullying random students and skipping type matchup class because I don't really know, to be honest. As I write this script, it feels like I'm missing a PhD in Starnomics to understand these guys' motivations. Backstory aside, at least they sorta make up for it by having some of the best boss designs and music in the entire series that you hear on your quest to dismantle this bunch of rapscallions. So yeah, that's the full list. Thank you to my channel members for making this video possible.